Okay, next we have Chris Schornak, followed by Kelly Esper. And after that, Christina Karamu. Thank you. Welcome to the Senate Oversight Committee, Chris.
Thank you, Chairman McBroom. Dear Chairman, I was a poll challenger with the Nonpartisan Election Integrity Fund, both on Tuesday, November 3rd and Wednesday, November 4th. On Tuesday, I was a poll challenger for the city of Royal Oak, where only 10 ballots out of the 25,000 ballots were spoiled and not able to be matched to the QVF, qualified voter file. Royal Oak ran their absentee ballot counting board perfectly. The chain of custody was broken at the absentee counting board in Detroit. How? I watched as hundreds and thousands of ballots came in that poll workers were not able to verify in the QVF nor the paper logbook. Yet, that ballot was removed from the secrecy sleeve, bunched together with other verified ballots, counted and ran through the high-speed tabulators. I have a sworn affidavit of this and have attached it to my public statement. I was able to challenge only 2 of these ballots and get them entered into the electronic record. I attempted to challenge more, but the poll workers simply refused, verbally attacked me, and had others do the same. Since then, I volunteered with Guard the Vote. Over the last 3 weeks, Guard the Vote had over 1,000 volunteers painstakingly go through 30,000 of the 172,000 absentee votes in the city of Detroit and found the following results, which I have brought with me here. 229 of these 30,000 we went through are deceased. We have proof of this. Senator Lucido, you were asking for proof. 2,660 of them, invalid addresses described by vacant lots and burnt down houses. I have a genuine question. Can someone in this room tell me how a deceased person can vote? Nonetheless, at the very lowest levels, if these percentages carry through, this means that of the 172,000 AV votes in the city of Detroit, 1,300 of them could be deceased. We're investigating it. Another 15,000 could have fraudulent addresses described as living on vacant lots or burnt down houses. What I can say for sure, and swear to you here today, I can say that overall 8.9% of the 30,000 absentee ballots that we've gone through and investigated just in the city of Detroit were unqualified, fraudulent ballots that should have been spoiled. And again, I have this printed out on the list. It's available for all of you. Why should this alarm you? Because this confirms that the city of Detroit poll workers were not properly performing a crucial step of verifying ballots in the qualified voter file, corrupting the whole chain of custody. And despite that, as I've sworn in my affidavit, and so as many others, those ballots were in fact counted and ran through the high-speed tabulators. We can prove there is fraud, which should disturb all of us. Isn't that the officials who are supposed to care and do something about this? They don't want to even listen to the fraud that we know exists. I would plead to everybody's sense of truth and justice to fair and honest elections. Are you listening? Will you even remember my name in 30 seconds? You know, say my name, Chris Schornak. Say my name, Chris Schornak. I do thank you for your time, and I hope for the love of God, truth, and fair elections that you will take the proper action and void the election in Wayne County.
Thank you. Senator Lucido has a question, please.
Thank you, Chris Schornak.
Thank you, Senator.
He doesn't even have it written in front of him.
And you know what's interesting? I grew up with a Schornak family in St. Clair Shores, so I appreciate you coming out. Yeah, you intrigued me. These 30,000 dead people that voted.
Well, not 30,000 dead people. This is 174,000 absentee ballots were counted in Detroit, and we were starting to go through them. We only got through 30,000 of them. Of that 30,000, 229 of them are deceased.
Okay. So now, what have you done to further your investigation? I know you started it. Have you turned any of this data over to the U.S. Attorney's Office, which is the United States criminal justice system, or to our Attorney General? These are the top law enforcement officials of this state. And I guess what I'm asking is,
why haven't I done anything with it?
well, you brought it to the legislature. We are lawmakers. We're policy people. Some of us are even wonks, like I guess his name is Senator Patrick Kolbeck, which we all respect. At the end of the day, I would love to see some of these things turned over with a CC to the Oversight Committee, because what we've learned is that I know the chairman and the other members of this committee are working real hard to start to look at policy and fashion legislation that will ban bar and vitiate all of these concerns. It's very tough to do, but at the end of the day, this needs to go to the Attorney General's office. If there is people that have died and are voting in an election, that needs to be brought to her attention, as well as the United States Department of Justice that ensures voting as well as the respect of our Constitution.
Yeah, I can assure you that's going to be done. I stand here representing over 1,000 volunteers, and they got my word. And you know, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm volunteering like everybody else behind me. And this is new to me. I'm a hack, but I do know that we're going to follow this up, and we're going to get it to those exact same people. And
We
we'll be
appreciate that, and I got to tell you, the concerns that everybody sitting in here, outside, in the other overflow rooms have are genuine, legitimate, but more importantly, they need to be brought to our attention as policymakers, not court of law. This is not a judge sitting here. He's a committee chairman, respected in his communities as we are all in ours. We're elected officials, but we don't wear robes and we don't make decisions on what is going on here. But we will listen to it for policy purposes to ensure the sanctity and security of the voting system. Thank you very much, Mr. Chris Schornak.
Thank you, Senator.
Mr. Schornak, the file folder that you have there, are we going to receive copies of that for the
I
record?
printed out
or-
one copy, and I
Okay.
tell you what, you can have my copy too.
Thank you.
So you'll have 2 copies of that. And I did cut my testimony a little short. It's slightly longer.
I appreciate
Wanted
that.
to keep it under 3 minutes and respect everybody's time. But yeah, let me give you this.
If you don't have the opportunity to give me the doubles now, I mean, later is fine. I just,
Okay.
whatever's convenient
Let's
for you.
do that so we can speed this along.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Not seeing any others. Thank you, Mr. Schornak. Appreciate your time. Committee will come back to order. Mr. Schornak, since you are still right here in the very front, and one of my colleagues, I neglected to see, she had a question. Would you please come back up? Senator Santana does have a question for you. My apologies, Senator, for missing your signal that you had a question.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you, Chair. Mr. Yarnak, one of the things that I really don't understand about the 2020 presidential election is that it's not that much different than 2016 for the city of Detroit. When you look at, everyone in America knows that Detroit has been voting democratically since the 1930s. And, you know, in the 2016 election with Clinton and Kane, the ticket had a solid, we had 234,800 votes. In the Trump and Pence election, they received 7,600 of those votes out of Detroit. Similarly, in 2020, the Biden-Harris election, around the same amount of votes came out of Detroit, 240,000. And Trump and Pence received 13,000 of those votes from almost about 5,000 more than he received in 2015. So with the numbers being so close in the city of Detroit around the voters, how can you validate a fraud situation when not only this election, but also the 2016 presidential election shows similar numbers coming out of the city of Detroit?
Was there a question there? Okay.
How can you
Sorry.
Yes, there was a question, Mr. Yarnik. How can you validate fraud coming out of the city of Detroit when the numbers from the 2016 election are not that much different from the numbers from the 2020 election? You had 234,000 votes, 800 votes coming out of Detroit in 2016, with Trump receiving 7,600 of those votes, and 5,000 more in 2020 for Trump in this 2020 election. So where's the fraud?
Yeah, super. I can't speak to the numbers of 2016 or now or total votes, but your question is, how can we verify fraud and validate fraud? Over 229 deceased people voting, that's fraud. That's not my definition of fraud. That's just the generally accepted definition of fraud. And 2,660 vacant addresses of burnt down lots, and these people voted, the dead people voted, that's fraud. That's how I validate the fraud and my personal experience on November 4th, being there, watching ballots come in that aren't in the qualified voter file. They're not on the written log, and yet they're still counting those. And And you'll hear from other people who say, hey, all we want to do, it's so easy to challenge a ballot. You just go like this. You type in the computer that one of the poll watchers challenged it. It takes 3 seconds. It doesn't slow the process down, and they pretty much refuse to do that. I struggled to get 2, and I said to our attorney, Tim Griffin, I said, Tim, they won't let us challenge anything. He goes, Chris, you got to get at least something in the poll book that you challenged it. And I said, I'll push it until I get arrested. Well, lo and behold, I didn't get arrested. They didn't put cuffs on me, but I was pulled out of there for about 20 minutes by 3 police officers. It was rough. It was a really hostile environment, and I know you guys aren't judges or legislators. So I just want to be transparent in answering your question. What we all witnessed there on Election Day and the day after matches the research of the 30,000 records we just went through very clearly.
And did you also attend the training on how things were going to operate at the TFC Center?
Yep. I didn't bring my training with me, but yeah, I had hours of training, almost like a day and a half, because I helped train other people too.
Thank you, Senator Santana. Thank you, sir, for coming back. Members of the audience, please remember. Senator Tice.